Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Angela, your own bookaholic brown name, coming back to you today with a not so bookish content. Why so, you may ask? No particular reason. Last night I happened to watch Loki, the new Marvel series playing on Disney Plus Hotstar, and I thought that I had some low-key perspective to share with you. Forgive my attempt at cheap humor right there, but yeah, I thought that I had some things that I wanted to share with you, and here I am with a video talking about Loki, the new Marvel series. So let's roll the intro and get on with it. My name is Angela. I am your own bookaholic brown name. If this is your first time here, I talk about books mostly here, and this is a one-off video where I'm doing a non-bookish content, but mostly I talk about books, and books. So if you know anybody who love books, who would like to talk about books, so direct them here, ask them to subscribe to my channel. You yourself also could subscribe while you're at it, and also please like and share this video if you like it. There is not quite a structure to this review as such. This is going to be a random rant where I want to share with you the thoughts that came into my mind while watching the episode. The only structure that this review will have is that the first part will be absolutely spoiler free, so that even people who have not watched this episode yet can watch this and get my view on the series or my general view on the series, and then we will move on to the spoiler full part of this review. Who is a sucker for anti-heroes? That's me. So I'm a huge fan of Tom Hiddleston solely for the reason that he made us fall in love with a character that the epics and the mythology has painted as this villain who is a mischievous scamp, as Loki himself says that in the series about himself. He took that character and made us hopelessly fall in love with this anti-hero who is supposed to be hated, but we adore him and we love to cheer for him. That's a great achievement as actor that Tom Hiddleston can take credit for. From this, you can safely surmise that Loki is one of my favorite characters from the Marvel Avengers movie. When the trailer dropped for Loki series, I was quite excited. I was really hoping for a great adventure, even though there was this disappointing lull left by the previous series, Falcon and the Winter Soldiers from Marvel left at its wake. It was quite a massive dud. You can't deny that. I hated that series so much, despite the fact that I love both the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The only three good things that I can think about that series were Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, and the trailer. So I was kind of skeptical about Loki, but still hoping for it to be a good thing, and I wasn't disappointed, at least from what we get in episode 1. It was great. I really enjoyed it. In the beginning, I was kind of feeling it might end up like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but no, it did not. It was great. Overall, I don't have to repeat myself. Tom Hiddleston has done such a spectacular job in playing Loki. He plays those witty moments very well. At the same time, we get to see the soft, mushy side of him. So that I really liked. Owen Wilson. So when I saw Owen Wilson in the trailer, I'm not a huge fan of Owen Wilson. One of my favorite all-time movie is A Midnight in Paris. And the only thing that I disliked in that movie is Owen Wilson's acting. So I wasn't that hopeful about that part, but actually I was surprised by Owen Wilson's acting in this. It was really good, very appropriate, and there is this very good chemistry going on between Owen and Tom, which really worked on screen. So kudos to the director for that. From the trailer, you know that the premise is that while Loki is holding the Tesseract, some kind of implosion happens and he's taken elsewhere, and this elsewhere is where this series starts from. There Loki finds himself in a barren island. From there he's picked up forcefully by this armed guards to a place called TVA, where he eventually meets Owen Wilson. There he is given a kind of an orientation by Owen Wilson, and he realizes that TVA is Time Variant Authority. They are responsible for keeping the time's flow intact. So basically there is this predestined time flow, and TVA are responsible to make sure that that stays that way, and if somebody breaks that time flow, they're supposed to bring them and punish them for that crime. That's a premise. You already know this from the trailer. That's not a spoiler. So while he's there, one of the first thing that he encounters is that he finds himself in front of a mid-level bureaucrat sitting behind a table with a huge massive stack of paper, which is supposedly anything and everything that he has ever said in his life, and he is asked to sign this, acknowledging that fact. And he, just like us, find it absurd, and he says that out loud, and voila, the printer chirps and pukes out another paper, and it says that this is absurd, like whatever Loki says. And I found it quite absurd. Yes, wasting a huge ass sheet of paper just to type in this is absurd. I know that you are keepers of the flow of time and all that, and you want to protect the time flow, but how about protecting environment while doing so? I mean, from the look of it, TVA looks like a quite advanced kind of a civilization. It has flying cars and floating buildings, I don't know what. And if you can do that, I think that you can definitely condense anything and everything Loki said in his lifetime into a small digital copy and ask him to acknowledge it by signing it digitally. I found it ridiculous and absurd, but whatever. Anyways, what I wanted to say was that I really liked the setup of it, even though it is this modern, progressive, advanced society, it looks like, or the setup that TVA is in. It definitely had a kind of a vintage tint to its designs. I really like that ambience. What else did I like? I like the humor actually. Sometimes the humor felt quite deliberate, so I couldn't laugh at all. I really love the ending, so I can't reveal it because it's a spoiler free part, but ooh, I was just sitting there mind blown. So that's quite a way to end episode 1. Now, this is the spoiler-free part of this review. If you haven't watched this already, I would highly recommend. You will not be wasting your time. It is quite entertaining. So go ahead and watch it and come back and watch the spoiler-full part. I am not an expert when it comes to movie making or series to make a judgment on how a series or a movie was from the technical aspect. So I cannot comment on cinematography or background music or lighting and screenplay, etc. So that's not my forte. But what I can comment on is the narrative style, the overall plot line, the character arc, and things like that. So books and visual media are similar in that aspect, that they are media of conveying a story. While Agent Mobius, Owen Wilson, is giving kind of an orientation to Loki on what this whole TVA is all about. So in the midst of it, Agent Mobius uses a projector to show Loki moments from Loki's life where he is committing acts of violence, he is inflicting pain on others, torturing, killing of people, etc. And he is asked this question, Loki, look at yourself, this is what you do, this is what you are. And then Loki says, no, I have a reason, I am a liberator, not a murderer. Then Owen Wilson says, no, this is what you are, and this, you are a sinner, and etc, etc, etc. And that made me think of something. If murder is wrong and causing pain to people is wrong, and if Loki has done that to achieve his goals, and because he thought that end justifies the means, then we have similar situation with the Avengers as well throughout the Avengers series. I mean, look at the amount of people Avengers have killed and murdered because they think from their perspective that their goal or their destiny or whatever they're supposed to do is justified, and the means is just something that they have to do. I mean, there is this huge pile of collateral damage that the Avengers have left in their wake wherever they went. Why is it that we give a pass to Avengers when they commit an atrocity and not to Loki or Thanos when they are doing essentially the same? If you think that it's because of the morals or the ethics behind it, if you think about why Thanos killed all these people, like, half the people in the, or half the, living beings in the world, His justification was that we are basically overpopulated, there are too many of us, so some of us have to sacrifice ourselves to make sure that the universe exists or continue to exist. That was kind of a metaphor or an allegory or a meditation on the fact that humans right now are almost going to hit 7.5 billion in population, and we are overpopulated, we are overusing our resources, we are corrupting and contaminating all kinds of resources that's there for us, and we are leaving kind of a very messed up world for the future generations. That is what Thanos was addressing. So, if you think from that aspect, why is it morally or ethically wrong? And my answer to that is because the whole Avenger movie series is told from the perspective of the Avengers. That is the narrative angle that the directors have taken, that these are the good guys and their intent is good and this is what they are supposed to do, and they will do that to protect you. While doing that, if they happen to commit some crimes, please forgive them, because we are ready to do that. Imagine Hulk, how many innocent people have he crushed to death? Even though it does not show directly on screen, we can assume while he's flinging, all kind of buildings and cars around, there might be some people who are dead, but we are ready to forgive Hulk because he's the good guy. From Loki's perspective, I think always he thought that he is supposed to be a king. Thor took that right from him, so he is not that friendly with Thor. He thinks that what was rightfully his was taken away from him and he was bitter about it. And from his angle, when we think about it, it's not wrong. That's the number one thing that I liked about in this episode, wherein we get to see a different narrative angle from the perspective of Loki, where he's not actually pure evil or this cunning, mischievous scam, which everybody has given him and assigned him from the time he is born maybe, and he has taken it upon himself to prove that yes, I am the god of mischief because everybody says so, or my destiny is so. But in this, at least in the first episode, we get to see a different side of Loki, which I really like. Second thing that this whole orientation made me think is about this whole question of free will versus destiny. Agent Mobius says that there is this predestined path that everybody is supposed to take. So Loki is inherently evil. He is supposed to take certain paths. He is supposed to kill certain people because his destiny is that. He deviated from it when he took the Tesseract. That's why he's here in this situation right now. So my question is, age-old question, if we are destined to do certain things, for example, hypothetically, think that when I reach the age of 40, according to the predestined path that is paved for me, I am supposed to kill somebody. So does that make me a murderer, or just that I am a person who is following my destiny? If I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do because somebody had decided that this is what Angela is supposed to do when she reaches the age of 40, am I accountable for that? Should I be held responsible for that murder? Or there is nothing called destiny at all, and it's free will, I kill on my own, and somebody somewhere called TVA decided that hey, she has done this once and this is supposed to be the path that needs to be taken because it gives their particular desired ending, whatever that is. That's not shown in the series yet. If there's a serial killer and if he's merely following his destiny, are we authorized to kill that serial killer for following his destiny? Is he really responsible for it? And this is where I have a problem with the concept of destiny against free will. And this is a huge concept, I know, in philosophy and also in neurobiology. Right now, there are a lot of researches going on in this field as such. So, free will versus destiny. What do you think? The third thing that comes to my mind and kind of annoyed me a lot is this. If you're not aware of these whole bunch of bloody timekeepers and their supposedly sacred timeline, how are we supposed to know what we can do and we cannot do? What are we allowed to do and what we are not allowed to do? Take the case of Loki. Loki picked up that tesseract and he was not made aware at any point that that is not an action he is allowed to do in his sacred timeline. Then how can you make him a criminal because he deviated from a supposedly predestined thing he's supposed to do? I mean, you know murder is wrong, not because of some kind of predestined pathway that you are made aware of. You know that murder is wrong because there is a victim, you are causing pain to another living being. So that's wrong, you know that. But picking up a tesseract, how are you supposed to know that you are doing right or wrong, or you are doing something which you are not supposed to do? Take the examples that are mentioned in the small animated video that Loki is shown. Coming late to work, starting an uprising. Dude, we all have been late to work at some point or the other. How are we supposed to know if we broke chain of event that was not supposed to be broken? Shouldn't it be somebody from the TVA or higher management from the timekeepers team that needs to be held responsible for this breach instead of Loki, who was not aware? But TVA guys and the timekeepers employees, they were aware of this, or they could have prevented it because they are aware of this whole situation. So I found this whole situation ridiculous, and I think that this is a huge logical plot hole. And we get to see Loki pondering over this whole free will versus destiny conundrum. He is conflicted. You can really see that he is broken, and then we get to see this kind of a very defeated aspect of him, and kind of gives us the feeling that some kind of reformation has happened. This whole journey, even though it is a short journey where he is made to realize of this conflict of free will versus destiny, mellows him down. Now he's ready to listen to Agent Mobius and ask him what he needs him for. Then we are exposed to this epic bombshell of a revelation that he is to fight a variant of himself who is eviler and who is more destructive. We have seen in the movie this one person, Loki, has two different faces, that he's extremely evil, but at the same time he can be a little bit soft. Sometimes when he's speaking to his mother, we can see that side of him, and we realize that he is not an entirely evil person. It would be interesting to see this softer, mushier side of Loki personified into a different person, and then you have this evil variant of Loki, and how this conflict and opposition between the two plays out in the series. That is something really interesting to watch out for. I have two questions that kind of confused me. One thing is about the Infinity Stones. I understand that those kind of powerful things that work in the actual timelines do not work in TVA, but still TVA is in some way or the other bound by time, because time is there. So why doesn't at least the time and the space stones work there? Or is it that any magical thing do not work at all in TVA? Second question is, now Loki is supposed to go and fight this evil variant Loki, who is more powerful, dangerous and evil, and how is he supposed to fight without his powers? Because it looks like he cannot use his powers in his current variant form. Or is it that only in the TVA that his power doesn't work? Maybe it works in the actual timeline or other timelines. I don't know. That is a question that I had in my mind. Is it something that I missed to understand? If so, please let me know in the comment section and enlighten me. Overall, I love the series. I'm not going to rate this as such because, as I told earlier, rating or reviewing visual content is not my forte, so I'm not an expert to do that, so I'll not be doing that. But overall, I love this and I'm really looking forward to episode number 2. So until my next video, this is Angela signing off. See ya. Bye bye.